I don't like AI. I think that there's a lot of good that will come out of it, but also a lot of bad that's going to come out of it. Let's jump into that. So, I think with the introduction of AI coming into our society and our lives, I feel like I should share my perspective and my feelings on it entering the world and affecting our lives. I remember my first introduction into AI a few years ago when I was at a study, and somebody had come over to me and they said, "Hey, look at this cool website where I can type in whatever I want and it'll generate an image." And I was like, "Really? That's crazy!" And they typed something in, and I think they typed in a night at McDonald's, and I thought it was so cool. I mean, it was still so abstract what it generated, but it was like you could clearly see there was a metal figure standing in what vaguely resembled a McDonald's. And at the time, I thought that was very cool. I thought that was like, it was mind blowing to me. But you fast forward a couple of years to where we are now, and it's expanded so much. And I'm sure that it's going to expand. I'm sure it's expanded farther than we realize. Way more so. I bet we don't even know a half or a quarter of how advanced AI really is. And there's just this part of me that doesn't like it. So I think with any major kind of revolutionary technology, there's always benefits and disadvantages. But this part of me feels like there's almost more destruction and consequence in store for, I think, us as the world with the invention of AI and the utilization of AI and the incorporation of AI into our daily lives. I think there will be things that will be positive. I think that AI will probably greatly advance medicine. It'll greatly advance trade and probably all these other good things. I'm sure there's going to be many good uses for AI, but I think there's going to be problems with AI being freely accessible to the majority of anyone who has the internet has access to AI. And not just that, but like, we'll probably see AI and robots come into our society at some point. That seems like that's crazy to think about. That was completely fictional not long ago. And now it's a reality. So what I mean by me having a problem with that is I think it's going to be very destructive to our the social part of us, the way we communicate with others and the way we bond with people and the way we interact with others. I think it's going to degrade us significantly, and I think there are going to be consequences for that. So let's say hypothetically, because there's just all these weird questions of, I think, morality and social, what's the word I'm looking for? Just the way we interact with people. I think there's going to be consequences. So I had this thought in my head a few days ago, right? So what if it's at a point where you're going to be interacting with robots that are a near perfect recreation of a human being? They look like a person, they talk like a person, they behave like a person, they dress like a person, but they're not a person. We are creating something that is going to deceive every part of our minds. Like, does that make sense? It's the thought of this creation that is going to dig into the very deepest parts of our mind, the social part of us, and it is going to resonate, but it's going to be a complete lie. It's going to be completely artificial. It's not real. So let's say, for example, there is a very humanoid person that you have to interact with in the future. Like I said, looks like a person, talks like a person, acts like one. What is the correct way to treat that robot? Because if you don't believe in the concept of a soul, or of people being humans, then do you believe that an AI is alive? Do you believe that it is a person? Can an AI be a person? I think it depends on your definition of life. But I feel for the people that would count AI as people, I think it's going to really mess with them. Because if you treat an AI positively like a person, with respect and whatnot, you are dangerously blurring the lines between what is a person and what isn't a person. But on the other hand of that spectrum, if you completely, resent AI, and let's say you see this person, this AI that's in front of you, looks like a person, talks like a person, and you don't care, you show no sympathy, no empathy, no kindness, no nothing, are you then not also crossing the lines of how you treat real people? Because that part in your brain is going to, like, biologically start recognizing these robots as people. So how do you interact with that? How do you deal with that? That's a very scary thought to me, that I think a lot of people aren't thinking about. I mean, even in our utilization of AI now, we're seeing AI generated music and art and animation, and it just takes the humanity out of everything. It takes the soul out of everything. But AI generated content is like, it's like consuming pure sugar, like liquid sugar. It's like stimulating every part of your brain for exactly what you want, but I feel like that is going to degrade us. I feel like that is going to bring us down, bring people down in their character and their social abilities. It's like, and what about the people that get emotionally invested in a robot? If there's an AI and it acts and talks and works like a person, people are going to be fooled into being emotionally invested in these. There are probably already people who are emotionally invested. How is that going to affect them? How is that going to affect a man who's 5 years into a relationship with a robot, and then he realizes that it's a robot? Do the memories mean nothing? Do the interactions mean nothing? How does that affect your psyche? How does that affect how you see the world and see people? How does that affect how you see life? These are just big ideas that I think the general population and people just in general don't really think about. And I don't know, maybe I'm crazy for thinking about this stuff. I'm not the most educated person on the subject. I'm not the most articulated individual, but these are the thoughts that I have. And I'm just some 21-year-old dude who's just like, I think that there's going to be problems. I feel like it's not hard to see. I feel like there's probably already problems. I mean, the ability to grant any person pretty much anything they want, like instantly. Well, not anything they want, but I think it will allow people to, I really think it's going to allow people to explore a dark side of themselves. And what happens when you explore that dark side and you see how messed up a person can get? Because if you don't know like how messed up you are, how you could be, and you see that side of yourself, then don't you start to question who you are and your own morality? Wouldn't that have a deep effect on you if you allow yourself to explore the deepest, darkest parts of yourself? There surely has to be a consequence for that. There has to be. There are repercussions to that kind of behavior, and it's going to be accessible to everyone. That's what's driving me crazy, is that I just feel like we're being spoon-fed this disaster, and we're just eating it by the mouthful. And like I said, I want to go back to the point that, like, I don't think AI is inherently evil. I think there's a lot of good that will come out of it. I think there's going to be like great medical advancements and all that, but yeah, I don't know. I can't really get behind the idea. I can't really get behind the idea of AI. And it's not like my opinion is going to change what's coming. Like, we're already moving forward with this. We're not going backwards, obviously, but I guess my hope would be to anyone watching this now to just, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but apply that to your life. Just be cautious with the introduction of AI. Think for yourself, think clearly, know what is right from wrong, know what is a person from what is not a person. Keep your head. That's all I'm trying to say.